Righto guys, we're solo riding today. Sounds like a moto coming down the street. What do we got? Oh yeah, it's 250. So yeah, we're solo riding today. I mean, this bike's been spectacular the last few rides out with this new wheel setup with the 16 and 19. Have a look at that. Can't complain at all. Heaps of grip. Last ride we went out, we compared with my cousin's bike who has still the stock setup, and like I was just getting up stuff with ease, and he was just like spinning, still getting up, but you know, spinning and kind of just not right. They're not hard enduro tires. These are much better. The actual tire itself, the Maxxis IH, the 204 and the 203, awesome tire. So we've only done 2 rides on it, so they've still got heaps, but they're quite gummy, like not full gummies, but they're quite, you know, they're an intermediate, but they're pretty soft for an intermediate. So I'm quite happy with them. They're not super hard, because I don't like super hard when I'm doing hard enduro. And yeah, so we're going to go on a solo ride today and just film the ride, just talk about the bike and what we got coming for it as well. We've ordered something pretty exciting, so we'll talk more about that on the ride, and I hope you guys enjoy. See you there. Rightio guys. So we're doing some upgrades to this thing within the next week or two. We're just waiting on the part, and yeah, it's going to be awesome. From all the videos and reviews and stuff that I've heard about the EBMX X9000 controller, nothing but really good stuff. I mean, I think when they first came out, they didn't have all the tunes for all the bikes down pat. But now apparently they've got everything, and for the MX5, I think Charged Cycleworks did a video on it, and I mean, like, the bike was just totally different to ride. He was saying, like, and it just looked different, like the acceleration was just crazy. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to pull the trigger on this thing and do a review myself of how it goes in the tracks that I ride, which aren't really high speed tracks. They're more so technical stuff. However, I mean, if it's smoother throttle response and smoothness and just nice kind of linear response, but like still heaps of power, that's where I benefit anyways. Like, I love that, because it'll be much easier for me to get around doing my stuff with a little bit less choppiness in the throttle. I think we went, this time we'll go this way, last time we went that way. And so yeah, like that controller just seems like, forgive my squeaky brakes by the way, I should have made the channel Squeaky Brake. Yeah, it's just going to be so much better, I think, than this controller. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this, the MX5 stock controller. I think it's a great controller, like out of the box. Perfect, you know what I mean? But what is that? Did I just catch a stick? No. However, there's always room for improvement, and from what I've heard, the X9000 is the best out of the box controller. Might turn myself around, because I think I remember this is kind of a it's more of a walking track. It's hard to get bikes in here. Okay, yeah, go the other way. But yeah, anyways, the X9000 just seems like it's going to be the best out of the box controller. That gives you heaps of options to play with and heaps of tunability. So can't wait for that. I'll do an install video. Like, I've only just started this channel, so it's going to be a little bit, probably not the best, like not like professional, but you know, I want to do something of an install video. I know there's other ones out there, but why not do my own as well? So that was a really good hill climb, and this thing just handled it like a beast. You know what I mean? It's still going as well. Oh, that's 16-inch rear tire has so much bite. Like, yeah, like I said, so the X9000, I don't need it. Like this thing is more than enough by itself. I don't need a controller. I'm just getting it because I want to grow my channel and I want to do install videos, because I know guys love watching that stuff. Like, you know, they're tossing up whether they want to buy one or not. You know, there's 1 or 2 videos out there on it, but not a whole lot. And you're just like, I wish there was a couple more so I could see if I really want it for my bike. You know, there's heaps on the E-Ride Pro, and there's heaps on like Surons and stuff. But then the MX5 doesn't get as much love. They only really, you know, get quite a bit of love from like Talaria boys and them. But I've got one, and you know, I don't have stacks of money to just buy heaps of e-bikes. So this is my only e-moto. So I'm gonna do everything on this bike, and then I'm gonna document it for you guys. So if you're like, MX5, love it, you know, but the range or whatever, you know, I'm here to tell you, like, yes, this is good, no, this wasn't that good, or do this or don't do that. This is my experience with this bike, you know. What I will say is, yeah, it's not the king of range, this bike at all. The riding that I'm doing right now, like hard enduro technical stuff, you'll never have a problem with range, I personally think. Like, you'll be more than satisfied going out and coming back. Like, we did a pretty long ride last weekend, and I still had 50% when I got back, and we rode everywhere. So I don't think you're ever going to have a trouble or struggle with range on these. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. But if you're riding longer trails, fire trails, high speed stuff, or you ride a lot of road stuff, you're going to struggle with range. It's going to start dropping, especially if you're like in sport mode or hyper mode or whatever. It's not ideal. I personally don't think. I personally think it's not great. But that's not why I bought this bike. It wasn't to go for long rides and stuff. It was to hit these technical trails around where I live and really just have heaps of fun. Now, that being said, you can upgrade the battery on these. So I'm not anytime soon, but I will end up upgrading the battery on this one. It's just not going to be right now. I'm going to get the controller first, because to upgrade your battery you need to get a controller anyway. So yeah, I'll be getting a controller for this. Just bear with me. I think this is the right way. Yeah, why not? So yeah, and you know, batteries aren't cheap either. You're dropping quite a bit of money on a battery. So it's not going to be a cheap expense. But however, apparently you can get a little bit raised, what's it called, a little bit more range with the new controller because of how the power is delivered, or I don't know. But I mean, the way I ride, I don't think I'm going to be getting more range personally. So I reckon I'll probably just get around the same range, if not maybe a bit less. But yeah, you can't. I think it should have come out with maybe a little bit bigger battery, personally. Maybe like a 50 amp hour or a 45 amp hour. Still 72 volts, plenty, but a 45 amp hour would have been perfect. And just give you that little bit extra. Yeah, you got bikes like the Ventus One Plus now, and the Sigma, the Altus, and they're just like way better with range. They just got bigger batteries. And I think this was kind of, the MX5 was a little bit of a, the MX5 and E-Ride Pro SS, they were like the best thing of 2024 kind of thing in these smaller bikes. And now you got all these other brands that are kind of just caught up and done their own thing, and you're just like, oh, okay, now these are like stacking behind. It's kind of like the Suron Light B. It's like, you know, that was great when it first came out. Now it's just like super underpowered, and just there's bikes out there for like similar price range or same price range that just eat it alive, you know. So quite interesting the way the industry is going right now and what's happening with it, and I love watching it. And I think I got it in at the perfect time. Like, this bike's, not knocking it, it's absolutely awesome. I love it, does it? And the quality of it, like, it's not a yeah, you can get heaps quicker bikes with longer range out there and stuff like that, you know, they ride Pro SR and whatever. That doesn't mean it's a better bike. Like, I'm not knocking any bike, but I'm just saying the build quality of this bike, it's hard to match, personally, I think. Like, I've seen Surons and stuff, and I personally think this has a better build quality. You know, I'm not biased at all, but I did my homework before I bought this bike, and it was out of this and a Suron, and I was just like, nah, I'm gonna get this, it's much better. But Suron didn't really have anything in this class at that point. It was a bigger bike, like, it had to get the Ultra B, and I didn't want a big bike. I wanted a smaller, nimble bike for these kinds of tracks, and you can really throw it around in here, have heaps of fun. Ooh, went off the trail there. And I find myself doing just that on this thing. There's still plenty of battery and plenty of everything. So yeah, but I just wonder what it's going to be like in like 5 years time. You know what I mean? Like, this thing's going to be like the range, and they're talking about semi-solid state batteries coming into play, and you know, that's going to be a massive game changer, because that's what they're using in all the Teslas and all that stuff, and just get so much more range. They're faster charging, and it eliminates all the dangerous aspects of the I mean, I don't know about semi-solid state, but I know solid state will eliminate all the dangerous aspects of these batteries, you know, catching fire when charging, and, you know, possibly getting pierced while riding and leaking and whatnot. So I think that's going to be something pretty cool to look out for in the coming, you know, years. Just not there yet, because I don't think enough people have made that kind of transition to these. Like in the States, these bikes are like, they're everywhere, you know. Here in Australia, we don't have a whole lot of options, unfortunately, like the States does. Yeah, they got everything there, and shops everywhere that sell these things. Like my local, there's only one local guy that sells these, and it's AE Bikes, and he's the whole of New Zealand and Australia's leading, well, not leading, only distributor, or, you know, wholesaler. So you kind of have to go through him, and, you know, he's great. Adam, awesome to deal with. You know, has heaps of insight on these bikes. He used to be Suron Australia as well, so he started off doing the Surons, moved to Talaria. He's been to the Komodo launch, told me about it. He's actually got them at the shop now, so I can't wait to go down there and have a look at them too, and possibly purchase a Komodo as well, which we'll get into that in a sec. But yeah, he's got heaps of insight, but he's our only kind of distributor, and otherwise you got to go like interstate, who only do kind of Surons, you know, Melbourne, and then that's it. You know, we don't a whole massive thing here. Like, we don't have all those Ventuses, and I think we do. I think there's one place that sells them in Melbourne, but it's not like they're just not well known enough here. We don't have all those options yet. I'm pretty sure there's an RFN down in Nowra. They do RFN, but I'm not a massive fan of those bikes personally. I think we've still got a long way to go. Now, let's get on to that Komodo and what Talaria is doing with that. I think Talaria is just so cool, and what they do, and, you know, how they make things, and they just look at all these other bikes and they go, how can we make like this bike that we can just make, and people just love it from factory. They don't need to do a damn thing to it. They just love it, and, you know, they don't go, oh, it's lacking in this, it's lacking in that. Yes, the tyres are always going to be lacking, but I just think that personally with tyres, you can never get them right from the start, because people are going to go, oh no, I don't want these big knobby tyres, or people are going to go, oh no, I do, because I ride trails. So you're always going to have, you're never going to please 100% of riders in the population out there. So what you could do is you could offer the bike in 2 different sets, right? You can offer it a 1619 or a 1919, just to get that. And I know, like, it's like the YZ85, like you can get big or small, you know, like for different size riders. And I personally think that that would be such a good little thing to do with these bikes, because I think a 1619 is a must do for the way I ride. But the 19 would be great for just riding the street and doing wheelies and whatever, and just putting some street kind of tires on it, you know. So it's personal preference, you know. I can't sit here and knock Talaria because they put a 19-inch on the back. That's what most companies do. So yeah, it would be nice if they offered in a different size tire for sure. But then again, they do offer the 16-inch rim for you to replace it yourself. So I guess they kind of do that already, and you don't really need to sit there and option them out and stuff like that. It just makes more work for the wholesalers. They just get the bikes in and sell them to you, and then you can customize them how you like. Now, in saying that, some tight, cool technical stuff. There are some other things that I personally love that Talaria is doing right now. So they've pretty much gone, okay, we've mastered these small bikes. Now let's see what we can do with a full-size bike, with full-size tires, so 18, 21 inch. And wow, the Komodo, I've heard some good things, some real good things. And yeah, it's not going to be a bad thing. I think people are going to love it. From what I've heard, it's kind of, if you've ridden like a Husqvarna or a KTM full-size bike, enduro bike, it's not as big, but it is still quite large, and quite, you know, quite a bit bigger than these MX5s, these Stings. In saying that, still whippable and controllable, and you still got that lightweight feel. This is all from Adam's feedback of what he was telling me. So you still get to have a lot of fun on them. They're under 100 kilos. They've got a 80, I think it's an 81 volt. I've got to look at it. I think it's an 81 volt 48 amp hour battery, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm gonna have to have another look, but it's a big battery. Lots of range. 48 something nuts, like heaps good range. Ooh, that was pretty cool. This is a nice little section here. Yeah, really good for like those bigger kind of trails that you ride, lots of rock steps. That's what I'll be looking at that bike for. And apparently they're bringing out like a road compliance one, which I'll probably wait for that one, because I'd like to ride that to the trails, to the tracks, and really yeah, treat it as a proper enduro bike, where just keep this one for these trails back here because it's perfect size. Anything bigger in here, it's just too big. So yeah, the Komodo is something to look out for, and it is coming very shortly, or if not already here. So yeah, like lots of cool things happening in the industry, and I think it's very exciting. So yeah guys, I'll be doing more of these videos, so just look out for them. Haven't posted really lately because I've been so busy with work, but I've got a whole bunch of videos just ready to post. So yeah, keep an eye out for them. But I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.